There was no sound that whole time? Oh my God. Well, 2 minutes in. Can you hear me now? Still nothing? How's that possible? Yeah, I got sound now. Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. 2 minutes wasted there. Okay, well, I'll give you the Coles notes of what I said. I said, welcome, good morning. Took Arnie out for a pee. We had every sound that you could imagine. There's a whole flock of Canada geese right across the road. So there was Canada geese, there was dogs barking, there was cows moving. So his 10-second pee turned into a 10-minute pee. I totally missed the solar eclipse yesterday. Didn't see 1 second of it. And that's about it. Took me 5 minutes or 2 minutes to say that. I guess none of it was recorded, but maybe if there's any lip readers out there, maybe you caught that. Oh my God. Well, it's been what? I started the show. You couldn't hear, but the first thing I said was, I know I say this a lot, but it has been a shit show this morning. And that was kind of the perfect lead into that. So anyways, look at this. We got a new face in the house today. Bodie. Good morning, my friend. Glad to have you here. Johnny. And then lots of no audios. Okay, we're back. We're back. Yeah, we went the first 2 minutes there without any sound. I apologize for that. But we got a good show, though, today, so I'll make it up to you. It's going to be an awesome show today. It's called Welcome to the New Internet. We're talking about how things were and how things are going to be. I think there's going to be, people are going to get a lot from this one. I'll say that. And I've been, like I said, I've been trying to prepare all morning for it. Sometimes it happens faster than other times, but anyways, we're here. Let's see what else we got here. Bodie says, I can hear you now. Okay, thank you. Ada. Hi. Robert's in the house. Okay. We're back. We're back. I apologize for that. I'm sorry. Where are we here? Let's check on zap.stream. I'm sure there's people over there saying, what the F is going on? Oh, zap.stream. Not much action over there today. Also didn't change the name of the stream over there. I'm sorry, folks. Sometimes, you know, as Ricky says on Trailer Park Boys, sometimes she goes, sometimes she doesn't go. Okay, where's the stream here? How can I edit this? There we go. We're doing things on the fly this morning. It's a little bit different dynamic when I'm here by myself with old young Arnie. Okay, there we go. So there are some people in Zap.stream. There was just a little bit of a lag there, just like everything else this morning. But welcome. Some new faces in the chat. That's always good to see. And if you are, we're over on the stream as well. That's where that's where I say the Bitcoiners hang out. Leith is over there. Crypto Heathen's over there. It looks like we got quite a few people over on Zap.stream. So I apologize. Yes, I was muted. Sorry for that. Joel, good morning, my friend. Good to see you. I recognize that name. And Matt Furl. Yeah, Johnny says the joys of doing it live. It is part of it. It's part of it. You get some days it's smooth, sometimes it's very rough. But anyways, you just got to keep showing up. That's the main thing. We're 4 months plus 2 months. We're 6 months into the show every single day talking about Bitcoin. And today was the first time that we started on mute. I have no idea why that happened or how it happened, but anyways, let's get to the metrics. Let's start with that. Sheesh McGeesh. Stressful times. Okay. We're not very far from the next halving, everybody. Every day we're inching closer and closer and closer to it. So we're currently block height 838450. So in 1,550 blocks, It's going to be a new halving. It's a new epoch. Good for some, bad for others. But at the end of the day, it's going to be good for everybody. Even though the miners are going to have to go through some trials and tribulations as their revenue gets cut in half. And what I mean by that, maybe if there's a few new Bitcoiners in the house, you can use mempool.space. It's a great resource. But here it says that if you click into any single block, these are every single block that's been mined since block 1 all the way to 838,000. But if you click into it, you can see the total subsidy and fees. This is the Bitcoin that's paid to the miners. So every 10 minutes, a new block is mined on average. And this subsidy and the fees gets paid out to the miner as their incentive for securing the network, the Bitcoin network. So in 11 days, approximately, or 1,500 blocks, this subsidy gets cut in half. So instead of getting 6 Bitcoin every 10 minutes, it's going to be approximately 3 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. So it's a big deal. It's a very big deal. The sats this morning, the sats per VByte, the transaction fees. If you are transacting on the Bitcoin Layer 1 network, you're going to be paying a little bit more than usual. 33 sats per VByte was the last block that was mined there. So even yesterday, I think it was 7, 8, maybe. Justine's here. Good morning, Justine. And Daniel. Good morning. Lots of friendly faces in the chat this morning. I love that. Okay, what else we got here for you? The price today dropped a little bit. It dropped to $70,000 US. It's crazy looking back. Even I write every month on the wall in the basement. It's unfinished basement. That's where we do our workouts and stuff. And I write on the wall the price of Bitcoin every month. And like 3 months ago, it was like $40,000. And all of a sudden it's $70,000. And still most people are just completely turning a blind eye to it. People are still questioning it. Anyways, 1 year ago today, you could have purchased 1 Bitcoin for $28,000. Last year, April 9th, 2023, 1 Bitcoin was $28,000. And 4 years ago today, back in 2020, this was when things went absolutely crazy in the world. April 2020, nobody knew what was going on, including myself. And that's kind of where things really started to change in my life, probably around this time 4 years ago. So I wish that I would have put a little bit more money into Bitcoin at that time, for sure, but I didn't. So nothing you can do. Moscow time today, $1 equals 1,412 sats. The deal of a lifetime, as we say. Here in Canada, the price is 96,124 Canadian dollars. And I'm just going to update this Moose Jaw time because that doesn't look right. No, it's not. Moose Jaw time this morning is 10:43. Live update as we go. So that's the metrics for you. A couple things I did want to talk about before we get to because this is going to be a little bit different of a show today. I actually have some slides prepared. Not really slides, just headings. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know. We always like trying different things on the show. But anyways, I should mention, this is something I saw today. There was a graph showing that based on what's happened historically, the price of Bitcoin should double in the next 2 months based on the chart. And I saw that and I was going to talk about it. But I also talked about, what was it here? Let me bring it up. I also talked about something similar about a month ago now. And it was this. Let me bring it up. So it says the time it took Bitcoin to double after previous breaks of all-time highs. About 18 days, 10 days, 84 days was back in March 2017. But I said that this was after we hit the all-time high. I said that based on that, I mean, we probably should be doubling in the next 18 days. And this was probably a month ago, and we haven't doubled. So it's important to call yourself out when you're wrong. I didn't really say that it was going to happen for sure. I was just saying that's what happened historically. But we also have to keep in mind here that this was the first time that we hit an all-time high before the halving. So when things happen differently, you have to kind of adjust your path in terms of where you're looking forward. So I was wrong about that, kind of. I never really, like I said, predicted it officially, but we haven't doubled yet. So I want to call myself out for that, for being wrong. I've been right about some things, but also been wrong a lot. So a couple more things here for the Bitcoin news. This is, we're not going to show that today. We don't have time. Every day we talk about what's going on in the world of Bitcoin and the Bitcoin news, essentially. And believe it or not, this segment of the show is actually sponsored by our friends over at Bitcoin News. So this is a quick one. I'm going to bring this one up. This is a good graphic. So this is from Bitcoin News, our favorite source of all things Bitcoin, the most reliable, unbiased place you can find news related to Bitcoin. But this says that over 111,000 Bitcoin moved out of the exchanges last month. So I don't know how well you can see this or not, but because it's yellow, not the greatest graph there to show. But back in October, there was 2.45 million Bitcoin on exchange. And as of yesterday, less than 2.3 million Bitcoin on exchanges. So we're dwindling. And that's a pretty good graphic. One of the things in Bitcoin is to make sure that you get your Bitcoin off of the exchanges. And so it looks like people are doing that, which is good to see. So not much to talk about there. Just wanted to show that. What else we got here? This is an interesting one. So I don't know how many people out there have heard of this new stablecoin called Athena, which is, I think, tied to Ethereum. I haven't done a whole lot of my own proof of work on it because, frankly, I don't really give a shit. Ethereum is poison, flaming dog shit. It is the worst crypto I think you can own. That is my very unbiased opinion. But it says users are claiming that Bitcoin pump is due to the Athena stablecoin, USDE buying over 500 million of Bitcoin as collateral. So this is a stablecoin, I think, using the Ethereum network. And it looks like they bought $500 million worth of Bitcoin to use as collateral. And so something else I saw in regards to that, and I don't know if it's on here or not. I should bring this down just in case. Where was that? No. Oh, it was one of these ones. So this just had a little bit more of a behind the scenes story, I guess, in terms of what this Athena is and what we should be thinking about it. Oh, no, I didn't even save it. Anyways, basically what it was saying is that with the Ethereum coins and using it as collateral, it was essentially comparing it to Tether. That's what this tweet was comparing Athena to, with Tether. But the difference between Tether and Athena, I don't even remember now. That's part of these shows. Let's see if I can find it here. No, I can't. Anyways, the moral of the story, regardless of what I was going to talk about there, the moral of the story is don't buy Ethereum, don't buy Athena, don't mess with that network at all. There's some very bad things happening there. There's some very bad people behind it. And there's just no reason for it. There's Bitcoin. I mean, if you have to use a stable coin, Tether's good. Tether has a lot of Bitcoin. They actually mine Bitcoin as well. But I wish I could find that tweet. Anyways, it doesn't matter much. Let's show this little meme here. This is perfect. I saw this morning on Twitter, and this is pretty much exactly what we were talking about on yesterday's show. Figured this was a good follow-up. So the top part there says that the system is broken and it must be fixed in a serious face. And the bottom part says the system is working exactly as intended and it must be destroyed. So we spent about an hour and 20 minutes yesterday talking about where we are and how there's no way for us to just transition into the same system but use Bitcoin as the currency. Everything has to be flipped on its head. So yesterday was a good show. If you haven't watched that one yet, I highly suggest it. And after the show, we did a very in-depth conversation about our new venture within Living in the Future called Jetson Media. So we had several people join yesterday, the private tier there. And a couple things I want to talk about. Number one, Grey Ridge Coffee is one of the clients of Jetson Media, one of the first ones. So we got to give a lot of praise to them. But since last week's episode, we talked about Grey Ridge Coffee. I actually have some today. But I've heard of several people just from messaging me saying that they've ordered the coffee. I've heard from Chris himself, the owner of Grey Ridge Coffee. He's a Bitcoiner. How impressed he was of how many sales there have been so far from this in a week. And so much that he's actually expanded his shipping into the US now. So there was a few people who reached out to me saying, I tried ordering Grey Ridge Coffee, but it was unavailable in the States. So since then, Chris has adjusted. He's added US to shipping. And so you can now, if you're in the USA, you can now order some Grey Ridge Coffee and support a fellow Bitcoiner. The beans are roasted right here in Manitoba. He's a Bitcoiner, great dude. And he's one of the first clients of Jetson Media. So you get 25% off too. 25% off. And I believe that you can pay in Bitcoin as well. He added US shipping and he added payment in Bitcoin. So you can get 25% off. greyridge.coffee is the website. You can find the link in the description. Everything I ever talk about in the show, you can always find in the description below there. So the discount code is simple, KNG. KNG at checkout. You can save 25% off an order. My personal favorite is the Ridge Dark, but I think this one's the Ridge Blend, also very good. I don't often have time. They come in beans, and I have a, what would you call it? Not a shredder, grinder. Shredder, grinder. So some mornings when I have some time, I grind a fresh batch of coffee for that day. I use the K-Cups, recyclable ones, but some days I grind them fresh and it's much better that way. Tommy D, good morning, my friend. You're in for a good show today, which is just about to start. We had some issues off the start. Leith is over there, Crypto Heathen. Noah says, good morning, Zap.stream continues to not work for me. I wonder why. I wonder why that would be. I've never had any sort of issues with Zap.stream. If you want to try it out, if you're somebody watching on YouTube right now and you want to try it out over on Zap.stream, all you have to go to is bitcoinjourney.ca/stream and it'll redirect you directly to the feed over there. And it's cool. You can hook it up to NOSTR or you can just set up your own profile and you can send zaps back and forth to each other or to the show. Today, our goal is just because we can. Just because we can. We couldn't do this before. We could never send a couple cents over the internet before until Lightning. So what else we got over there? We got the Bitographer. Says, this is the first stream I've been a part of. Cool stuff. See if I can zap that. We're doing a live zap on the show. Hopefully it works. Yep. There you go. Welcome to Zap.stream Bitographer. I just zapped you 21 sats. I think I recognize that profile picture there. I think he's a Canadian fella. Leafar FX says, hello, everyone. And Ballsy Golf says, made it to my local post office in BC to buy from Bull Bitcoin. Still cash only, no ID required yet. Also, I will say I went to the post office yesterday, unless anybody from the government is watching, but I went to the post office yesterday, bought some Bitcoin with cash, worked like a charm. So there was somebody in the chat yesterday saying that it didn't work for them yet. They've already changed over, but it did work for me. So I was there yesterday. I bought Bitcoin with cash through Bull Bitcoin. if you're somebody in Canada happens to be watching this video today, get a Bull Bitcoin account. You can use my link underneath the description here, underneath the video. Sign up for an account. You don't have to put in your name. You don't have to put in anything, just an email address. And you can go to the post office with cash, buy Bitcoin, no KYC, not attached to you. And that ends in 6 days. The federal government, Canada, didn't like how much control they were losing from that. They have to know everything about you. And if they don't, they shut it down. So there you have it. Look at this. DXY says, hi, I signed up yesterday to the Patreon group, but didn't understand how to join the private chat. Can someone explain how to join, please? Yes. You asked the right guy. So I should have sent you an email, unless you signed up late last night, but I should have sent you an email as a welcome and saying, if you would like to join the group chat, send me a message and I'll get you the info. But just shoot me a message on Patreon or email or wherever, and I'll get you added to the group chat. And Tommy says the same. I added you. Sorry, we're doing things live here. Tommy, I added you, but then the wheels were spinning on it. So I think you have to do something with your Signal app, maybe update it, but it didn't work for me. So both of you, fellas or ladies, but that's it, fellas or ladies, send me an email and I'll get you added to the group. Very easy to do. Bodhi says, yesterday you mentioned Coinbase, not a good exchange, better option. Depends where you are. What country are you in? Okay, so that's it. CreaRidge.coffee. Get yourself some coffee. It's very good tasting, and you're supporting a Bitcoiner. That's kind of our whole goal with this channel. Support Bitcoiners, grow a network, grow a community where we can just buy and sell from each other, and we can kind of just say GFY to the old system. Johnny, same to you. Just shoot me an email, 88sats@proton.me, and I'll give you the instructions to get you into that group. Very good group. I would say that $5 a month. We have to have some sort of filter there to make sure that it's just not a bunch of spam. But $5 a month is worth it just for the group chat alone in there. That thing is going all day. There's so much good information in there. People sharing resources that they watched, people asking questions. If you're somebody who's new to Bitcoin and just wants to further yourself, become a better Bitcoiner, if that's your only goal with it, I would say that this group chat would be perfect for you. You just ask a question and there's 20 people in there who can give you an answer to it. And if one of the answers is wrong, somebody else is going to call them out on it. So I wish that I would have had that when I was getting into Bitcoin first. And that's why we created it. So US, Bodhi, I would say from my experience, and maybe some folks in the chat from the US can answer that, but the best exchange in the US from what I've heard is River. River, Swan, Strike, Coinbase would be at the bottom of that list. Don't use Coinbase. If you have any Ethereum, sell it for Bitcoin. If you have Coinbase, delete it, set up a different account with River or with Swan. And if you need a referral link for those, I don't have any myself, but I can find you one. There's usually some sort of bonus there, like with my Bull Bitcoin one, you get $20 free worth of Bitcoin. And I'm guessing with River and a few other ones, you get some free Bitcoin just for signing up. So all of my information, as I say all the time, how to contact me, my website, everything, and how to join that group, Living in the Future, is all in the description below. Very easy for you. Leith is using Strike, and Rock and Roll says Cash App. And as mentioned yesterday, I'm going to start putting, this might be for the people watching later, but I'm going to start putting little Easter eggs within the description below just to get people looking what's in there, because there's a lot of good stuff I put in there, including different information, resources, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to start putting some Easter eggs in the description every day. Not every day, but some days. And so if you're somebody who likes free sats and winning things, just take a quick look through the description every day and see what you can find in there. Crypto Ethan says Fold. That's a great one for your everyday use. And Daniel says River for DCA. There you go. Solving things. Solving things on the fly. Okay, how are we going to do this here? How are we going to do this? Close you, close you, close you. Okay. I'm going to try to bring this up. Actually, we'll get into what we're talking about today first. So this is good timing today. We're only 27 minutes in so far. So what we're going to be talking about today is the new internet. The internet came out, I don't even know when, in the 90s. It took about 30 years to really catch on in terms of every person on earth using it every day as part of our lives. It's slowly morphed to be part of our life. Even the fact that I'm sitting here in a fairly remote location, not remote, but 5 years ago, there was no internet here. This is the place where I grew up. My parents had a cabin at the lake here. And for the first 30 years of my life, every time we'd come out here, there was no internet, which wasn't always a bad thing. We got to go golf, be on the lake, whatever, be kids. So the internet has slowly just morphed into every aspect of our life. And I'm doing a live show here to the world, essentially, on the internet. So it took 30 years. Bitcoin's on the exact same path, the exact same trajectory. It's actually moving a little bit faster. We're 15 years into Bitcoin. But Bitcoin's one aspect of this, and it's going to trickle over to the entire internet in terms of Bitcoin, Lightning, and NOSTR. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I got 7 or 8 different things we're going to talk about, comparisons of the internet that we know today versus the internet that's being built right now. So I think this is going to be pretty interesting for a lot of people. And then I'm going to kind of talk about what we can do at the end of it. So let's start with the first one. Daniel says, I like to use Fold as my daily credit card. Yep. And that's exactly what I do here in Canada. We don't have Fold here, but I use ShakePay for the exact same thing. Very easy to budget. And the beauty of it is that you can actually earn sats back instead of credit card points. So it's like a prepaid Visa. You can use it anywhere, any merchant that it has the tap feature. You can use the ShakePay. So another one there. I think I took my ShakePay link out of the description. But if you're in Canada and you want to get on ShakePay, you can also shake your phone every single day and earn free Bitcoin. Joel says River for the US is the best exchange. That's the unanimous decision that I've heard. But at the same time, you have to be prepared, because I helped a guy get onto River 2 weeks ago now, and he finally was able to unlock his Bitcoin. So it's a little bit different than here in Canada, where you can set up an account within an hour on Bull Bitcoin and have Bitcoin pretty much in your wallet by then. But with River, you sign up for an account, you load up, you fund it, you buy Bitcoin. You actually can't withdraw that for about a week at least. This time it took 2 weeks. So if you're here for the long run, it's not a big deal. If you're here for the short run, also not a big deal, because it'll just sit on the exchange there. But just something to be aware of. Palms in the house. Good morning, or good evening to you, I should say. And Sachi says, ShakePay for all my purchases these days. Me too. Okay, I'm getting off track. We were talking about here. We were talking about the new internet. Okay, so I'm going to bring these up. We're going to start one at a time. What should we start with here? This one. This is the coolest one, I think. So we'll start with the coolest one. So like I said, I have 7 different things here. I'm going to talk about the Bitcoin version, the NOSTR version, the new internet, essentially, versus the old internet that we have known so far, and how much things are going to change. Everything's going to move from a very centralized structure on the internet and in every aspect of our life. We're going to move from a very centralized structure into a decentralized structure. And the impact of that is going to be significant on every single person here. So here's the first one. I'm going to do the entire screen. Here we go. Zap versus Like. So Zap is the new internet. Like is the old internet. And probably the place where you can find this, other than zap.stream, this is a perfect example of this. But YouTube and versus zap.stream. On zap.stream, you can actually go in there. You can like each other's comments. If somebody makes a comment that you like, or you asked a question and they give you information for it, you can zap them in zap.stream. And a zap essentially means that you're sending Bitcoin to them over the Lightning Network. So that's zap.stream, but also on NOSTR. With zap.stream, you can also zap the creators. You can I set a goal on there every day. And if you're getting any sort of value from my content, you can send me a zap on zap.stream. So that's the video platforms, but then you also think about the social media aspects that we know. So we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have Twitter. If you see something that you like, you can press the heart button, like it. But what does that mean? What does that do for the other person other than give them a quick shot of dopamine? It really doesn't do fuck all. But with NOSTR and zaps, if you get any sort of value, if you get a laugh, if you learn something, or it's just a good post, you can actually send somebody Bitcoin. You can send somebody real money instantaneously without anybody's permission. Nobody is in the way there. And you can do that for any amount that you want for free. So that's going to change the entire dynamic of the internet, because once people figure this out, once the influencers of the world figure this out, think about how many industries this is going to affect. Not only with zap.stream and people like, let's say, Mr. Beast or Joe Rogan, they start getting onto zap.stream and people can actually send them Bitcoin instead of just, as appreciation of their show. Joe Rogan might not. I don't know what his relationship is there with Spotify, but you know what I mean? Like when these people start realizing what's happening here, and the first people to show up over on NOSTR and to zap.stream, their life is going to change significantly. And so think about that. We talked about the YouTube stuff yesterday, but let's think about let's use Instagram for an example. So if you want to get on Instagram and become an influencer, and I hate the word influencer, but people actually spend a lot of their day and a lot of their time learning things from these people to an extent. There's some people that are just, on there shaking their butt. But there's actually people who are providing value, whether that's a recipe, whether that's a workout, whatever that may be. There's actually people who are adding value to other people's lives on Instagram. And so currently what it looks like is you have to post a bunch, you have to grow a community there. You have to get some sponsors. That's how the typical route in the old internet of earning money. That could take a very long time. And platforms like Instagram, like Facebook, are very saturated already. TikTok's the same way. It's very hard to get onto one of those platforms today as somebody who's new and really make a big splash on there just because there's so much noise. It's so saturated. So it takes a very long time for you to actually start earning value back for the value that you're providing to people. But with NOSTR, you could do the very first day you sign up for an account, you make a post that other people enjoy, they got some value from, they can send you Bitcoin that day. You don't need to wait for a sponsor. You don't need to have X amount of views on your page. If one other person on earth got value from your post, they can send you Bitcoin. They can send you a zap. So that's the first one there that I wanted to talk about, zap versus like. That's a very important one, very cool one. And it's going to change how we do everything online. And once these influencers, once these musicians and, the usual people, once they move over to NOSTR and start earning zaps there instead of likes, that's when the needle moves. What else we got here? Real versus fake. I have some notes here. Where are they? A couple things here. I think the biggest one with real versus fake is going to be what? Is going to be history. So think this is more to do with Bitcoin, but it's going to change the way we do everything, including the relays on NOSTR. And I might lose a couple people here, but think about in the old world. Let's talk about that first. So in the old world, basically, whoever has the website, whoever has all that content, they essentially own it. There's centralized servers. They get to control who comes onto the website, who doesn't, what what's done with the information. With the new world, with Real, you can actually set up your own relay. And so you control your own posts, you control your own data. Nobody else controls that on your behalf. It's just relays going back and forth. Instead of one centralized server sending it out to everybody, it's just relays. So that's kind of the Bitcoin NOSTR part of it. But also think about history. Think about how our history has been written through the years, where it's in books, which can be burned, right? That's a big deal, honestly. And there has been instances in the past. I don't know history well enough to know the dates and stuff like that, but there has been libraries and, you know, places that hold books and information that have just been burned or attacked with other methods of destruction. So when you have things on a book versus things on a blockchain, that's much different. And so with Bitcoin now, if you wanted to put something in a transaction, if you wanted to write something, and this will happen in the future going forward, but once it's in the blockchain, if you understand it, if you understand how that works and it gets broadcast out to every single person running a Bitcoin node, you can't go back and change that. You can't go back and change that. You can't burn it. You can't destroy the building. You can never change that. It's going to be on every single Bitcoin ledger, Bitcoin blockchain, the updated version that went out across the world. So you can't change that. That's going to have a real impact on our history. There you go, King. Look at what a name that is. Says, good morning from Winnipeg, Jora. I had a great chat with Crysler. Thanks again for the recommendation. Love that. So Crysler is my good friend. He's a financial advisor, very, very open to Bitcoin. So if you're somebody who has some investments in your pension in the legacy system and you want to convert that into a Bitcoin ETF or MicroStrategy, get in touch with me. I'll put you in touch with Crysler and he can help you move that, the bonds, the stocks, the GICs, move that into Bitcoin. So thanks for sharing that, King. I appreciate that. So that's real versus fake. Let's go with this one. This is an interesting one. One versus ton. So this is actually one versus a ton. And think about this in terms of passwords. If you grew up in the internet era, how many passwords do you have right now in your life? I have a password keeper on my phone and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And you have different emails and you have different passwords associated with those. You have different usernames. It's a shit show. It's a complete shit show. And a lot of them are very unsecure as well. Your last name with a couple numbers, not good. So this is in terms of passwords. That's the old internet. You have a ton of passwords, a ton of usernames, a ton of email addresses, and you have to piece them together every time you want to log into a new website. With Bitcoin, with NOSTR, with the new internet, you have one. You have one password, one private key, essentially. Your private key and your public key pair, that's what you use to access every single app within NOSTR. So you could find an application on NOSTR, let's call it Primal, and you get set up on there. You have a private key, a public key. That's how you log into it. And then you get tired of Primal or they do something that you don't like. So instead of having to rebuild your entire network on there and start fresh, you actually just take your private key and your public key and you plug that into a different NOSTR client, which could be Domus. And this is just kind of like the social media aspect of it, but this is going to have an impact on every part of the internet. Every website you go to, you're going to log in with your NOSTR key. In this new world anyways, it's going to take a while to get here. It's not like one day we're just going to flip a switch and all of a sudden we're in the new internet. This is going to take a while, but that's what it will look like at the end of this. You have your private key, and that's what gives you access to every single website on there. And if you think about that, how good that's going to be, not only just for your mental clarity, but you have to take the stuff seriously, because if you consider that, everything is going to be reputation based. Because every time you log into a website, it's going to be you. It's not going to be a different email, different username, different password. It's going to be you. And the sooner you can build up that reputation and the sooner you can start interacting with people and just creating good karma out there, essentially, the better off you'll be. And so it'll essentially be like an Uber. It'll be like an Airbnb. It'll be like an eBay for everything, because you only have one key. So your entire reputation is going to have an impact on every single interaction you do online. So it's not going to be like Uber, where you can set up an account, you can be a piece of shit and call the Uber driver names and then just go off and live your life as normal and set up a different account next time. Or Airbnb or eBay. And if you're good on eBay but bad on Airbnb, it's going to have, you can't do that anymore. Your reputation, your one private key, is going to be your unlock to the entire internet. And the better your reputation is, the more people are going to want to interact and transact with you. So keep in mind here that Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer electronic cash, which means that between that peer and the other peer, there's no middleman. There's no trust factor there. You have to have the trust yourself. There's not going to be any companies in between there that we're putting our trust in to make sure that transaction goes through. It's just going to be peer-to-peer. So the better off your reputation is going to be in this new internet, the much better off you're going to be. Does that make sense? I hope so. So that's pretty incredible. Like I said, if I look through my passwords and my usernames and my everything to log into websites, it's not good. It's not fun. Fees versus free. This is a big one. This is a very big one. So this is in terms of merchant fees. So I'm going to use a couple examples here. The first one is if you're a business owner and you sell products, services online, you have a middleman there. In this case, we'll use Shopify. So Shopify, every time somebody buys something from our website, King Golf, they take about a 5% fee off that. That's their merchant fee, because they're the middleman in that transaction, making sure that you pay and I deliver. They're the middleman. That's where they get the fees from there. So 5% of every single transaction on our website gets paid to Shopify, and that adds up. Any business, any amount of business, that adds up. 5% off of every transaction, especially how much things cost now. Because we, as a person who has a business, we're paying more for all of our inputs. We're paying more for our leather. We're paying more for our apparel. We're paying more for everything. And you can't just keep increasing your prices for people. So the margin keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And you have a 5% fee on top of that that's being paid to Shopify, which is insane. Insane. Visa is the same. Every time you go to a store, that business has to pay 2 or 3% to Visa or MasterCard just to facilitate that transaction. And it takes a couple days. That's the old way of doing things. In the new world, in the new internet, there's no fees. It's free. When you're buying things with Lightning. And on Friday's show, I actually bought a t-shirt from the Juxtapose website, a Bitcoin t-shirt, using Lightning, 0 fees. He didn't pay any fees. I didn't pay any fees. That means the price can stay lower. Because when you cut out the middleman there, you can drop your prices. So not only is it there's no fees, but it's much faster. He didn't have to wait 2 or 3 days for that money to show up in his account like a normal business would. He had that Bitcoin, because we used Lightning. He had that Bitcoin in his wallet as soon as I pressed the buy button. Didn't have to go anywhere. It didn't have to go to 5 different banks, to PayPal, through Shopify, through all that. It just goes straight to him. And it's so hard to wrap our minds around that, because it's so different than what we're used to, what we've grown up in here. So that's a big one, fees versus free. And of course, as Lightning grows and more people start using it, the fees will go up a little bit. But if you compare a 5% merchant fee versus like a 5 sat fee for using Lightning, like what's 5 sats? Less than a penny. So it's not completely free, but it's pretty much free, and it's instantaneous. And you don't have to check with each other's banks to make sure that they're okay with you spending that money at this place. So that's fees versus free. What else we got here? Spam versus fam. This is a good one. So let's think about the old internet here. Let's talk about spam. You open up your email, should give a quick shout out to the Bitcoin Edge here if he's still in the chat. Hi from Miami. Good morning from Florida, from sunny Miami. Let's talk about the old internet here. So spam. Open up your email account right now, even if it's like your personal email that you don't share with a lot of people. Think about that. Think about how much spam is in there right now. What if there was a way where if somebody wanted to send you an email, they had to pay you 5 sats first? So think about how much spam that would eliminate, because all of these companies, they basically buy our data from these centralized corporations. They send out millions of emails and hopefully one person bites on it or 2 people bite, because it's free to do. There's no cost to doing that. So they have the ability to send spam. But in the new internet, you're going to actually have to pay me in sats before you can send me an email. And it's going to be the same with phones. It's going to be, if you want to make a phone call to me, if you're a telemarketer, you're going to have to give me 10 sats for that. And some people will. Some people, if it's a legit phone call, they will actually give you 10 sats and you can have a conversation. But the reason I put FAM in here is because the way this is going to work in the new internet is that you're actually going to have a contact list. So you have a contact list of every email that your friends, your family, and they don't have to pay you anything to send you an email. But anybody outside of that list, out of that contact list, is going to have to give you 5, 10, 20 sats just to get in touch with you. Doesn't that make sense? And so that's going to completely eliminate all these spam companies who just send out a million emails because it's free to do. You won't be able to do that anymore. So that's a big one. Spam has been a big problem in our lives, and a lot of people lose a lot of money or lose a lot of Bitcoin or whatever it is just because they don't know what's real and what's not. There's so much spam in their inbox every day, and they accidentally click a link, and all of a sudden people have access to their whole computer, and they lose their Bitcoin, or they lose their money, or they lose their identity. So the people who do that now aren't going to be able to do that much longer because it's going to cost them. And when you have a fixed monetary system like Bitcoin, you can't just create new Bitcoin. You can't print Bitcoin. You can't counterfeit Bitcoin. And so it's going to cost them way too much to be able to try to send you any spam. It's not going to be feasible for them to do. So spam's going to be gone. FAM's going to be here. Tommy says, eBay alternatives for Bitcoiners. eBay takes 25%. I sold something on eBay last week. They sent me the transaction. I almost threw up how much they took off it. It was like $150 sale. They took $30 off of that. $30 for what? I mean, yeah, you got a good website and people visit it, but is it $30 worth? 25% worth? I don't know. And there already is eBay alternatives popping out for Bitcoiners. One of them is called SatsCrap. So you can go to satscrap.com, I think. That's one of them. And the second one is Plebeian Market. So there's already 2 Bitcoin eBay competitors popped up, and that'll only increase. So instead of paying $30, you pay maybe 50 sats to sell something. I have a few things listed on satscrap.com. I haven't sold anything on there yet, but I have a couple things listed on there. King says, so third-party vendors like Google, Microsoft, Apple could implement this to attract customers. However, do they get any revenue from spammers and companies? I don't think so. The one thing that they would get revenue there from would be selling your data. So everything that you do online, Google tracks, right? If you're, which I am right now, I'm connected to my Google account on this computer. So Google tracks every place that you go to, and then they sell that information to companies to advertise and to spam to you. So yes, I don't think that they will be too happy when this happens. I think that some of them will figure it out. I'm sure Apple always finds a way to figure things out. But that is going to be a problem for them when they can't sell their data to people anymore. That's going to be a big problem for them. King also says, which side of this coin has more cash flow? The customer base going towards a spam-free platform or the advertisers paying to spam? Which side of this coin has more cash flow? The customer base going towards a spam-free platform. Yeah, I mean that's these infrastructures and these systems are going to be put in place where every time you do, I think that I answered this as well. But let's use an example there. So every time, this is how it's going to incentivize companies to build in this new internet, is because let's use an example of me using Vita. Vita is an actual business that already exists that does this with spam. So if you want to call me, and I have my phone number set up through Vita, if you want to call me, you have to pay 20 sats, let's say. And Vita will take like one sat off of that. And every time that there's a phone call in the world, or every time there's an email sent, they get one sat from that, which is going to be huge. Think about what they get for currently nothing. Somebody makes a phone call, the internet or the telecommunications company doesn't get anything from that. But every single phone call, every single email, every single text that somebody pays 5 sats for, that company takes 1 sat. That's going to be a very lucrative business for people. So that's why people are going to be incentivized to do it. Okay, what else we got here? Let's do search versus ask. This is a good one. So this is kind of what we've grown up in here, is the old system like Google. So you go into Google now, you type in, you search for something, and Google will pretty much filter it what they want to show you, right? If you've used Google in the last year or two, you type something into Google, you don't see anything that you want to see. You just see the ads. You see what Google wants you to see. The people who are paying them money, that's who you see first. So you have to go through like 2 or 3 pages to actually find what you want on there on Google. So that's a very poor way of doing it, and I don't think it's going to be around for much longer, honestly. And if you compare that to ask, so if you and this is how I do all my asks and searches online now, but if you go into NOSTR and you type in, where should I visit when I go to Berlin this summer? And you type the hashtag ask NOSTR, you're going to find people on NOSTR who are wanting to help you to navigate. These are real people, real Bitcoiners. And if you get any sort of value from those answers, you can send them Bitcoin. And this never would have worked in the old system because we didn't have the ability to do micropayments, right? If this same thing happened on Twitter today, and if I asked a question to Twitter, first of all, I'd have 1,000 spams that would be there. And that's part of it, the spam versus fam. It's going to be the same thing on Nostr. But with that, there's no way for me to really send somebody 5 cents or 2 cents for answering me. But on Nostr, I can send them 50 sats or 100 sats. You have the ability to do microtransactions, micropayments that we couldn't do in the old internet before. So that's a big deal. And it's not only like asking questions like that, but you can also go on there and ask anybody, say, I need a new app built. Is there anybody on here who can help me build a new app? And you have 5 people reply to you. Instead of Google, where you type in app developers in Canada. And you'll get, first of all, the list that Google wants you to see, the people who have paid them to advertise on Google. But then you'll just get a bunch of, whatever Google wants you to see there. You don't have any actual peer-to-peer interaction there. It's just Google showing you what they want you to see, right? So that's a big difference there. That's a huge difference. So I want everybody, if you get one thing from today, if you get one thing from watching the show today, get onto Nostr. You can download Primal or you can download Damus. Set up your own private key, public key pair. Very easy to do, just like signing up for any account online. And start using Nostr. Start posting there. Go on there today, ask a question, and use the hashtag AskNostr, and just see what happens. And you can connect it to your Lightning wallet. Very easy to do. And if somebody gives you a good answer, you can send them money. You can send them real money in Bitcoin. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And the last one here, probably the biggest one, I think, that we're going to see how things are going to change here, which is closed versus open. And this has three different parts to it that I want to talk about here. So the first one, the most obvious one, is the stock market. The stock market opens at 9 a.m. every day, closes at 5. Bitcoin never closes. It's open 24/7. And over the weekend, we saw the price of Bitcoin running up. It went from like 66,000 to 72,000 while the internet was closed, the old internet. So that's one example. And I do think that things are going to change, because whenever Wall Street is getting screwed, they change the rules to the game. So I don't think we're going to be living in a world where the stock market closes every day. I think things are going to be tokenized, and it's going to be open 24/7, which it should be. We have the ability to do it already. So that's one. The second one there is the closed versus open source. So the old internet, a company would fire up. They would have, let's say, use Twitter as an example. They would have their algorithms. They would have their centralized servers. They would have their source code, but it would be closed. So nobody could replicate that. So it's created what we have today, where we have Facebooks, Twitters, TikToks. They own their source code. It's all closed. So I can't go in there and copy and paste it and make my own TikTok, because it's all closed. The new internet, everything is open source, including the Bitcoin code. So you can go into anything. If I wanted to set up a NOSTR client today, if I looked at, let's use Amethyst. If I wanted to make an Amethyst of my own, we'll call it Jorathist, I could go in there, look at if I knew what I was doing, which I don't, but I could go in there and copy their source code, paste it into my own, and then just add a few different features in there. So my app would be using their code, but I would just make a few changes to mine. And so what that creates is that people are just going to be building and building and building and improving things. Because if you compare that to Twitter, where if I had a good idea that I wanted to implement using the Twitter protocol or the Twitter source code, there's no way for me to do that today. But with NOSTR, everything being open source, I can do that. And it's not going to be Facebook versus Twitter. It's going to be NOSTR versus everyone else. Every client on NOSTR, every time somebody joins NOSTR, that's going to benefit the whole ecosystem, because it's all open source. And everybody's building together over there. So that's the second part. And then the third one is the market. We talked about the stock market, but I want you also to think about the general market. So buying and selling online and finding people to work with, building your network. The old internet is very closed. 5 years ago, if you wanted to reach out to somebody in Malaysia and get them to develop an app for you, think about the process with that. You would have to get in touch with them, email them, get their payment information, discuss how much you want to charge for it, how much they want to charge for it. You'd have to get their banking information. Somehow that money that you sent to Malaysia would have to get there. I don't know how it would work. You'd have to get their bank information. You can't just send an e-transfer or a PayPal, but you'd have to get their banking information. And that's very difficult for a lot of people. A lot of people don't have bank accounts in these other countries. So that's kind of how things were. It was very hard for us to hire people, to hire talent to help us in other parts of the world with this closed internet that we had, closed banking system that we had. But today, if I wanted to hire somebody in Malaysia to do an app for me, they send me a price in Bitcoin. We don't have to do any currency conversions back and forth. They send me their price in Bitcoin. They send me a Lightning invoice and I pay it. That's it. Even in that old system, even if I did find a way to pay them, think about all the different people in between there who are going to be taking a fee off of that. Or if you want to send through like a payday loans or whatever it is, however you send cash at other parts of the world, they take like 25% of that right off the top. That's the closed old system. The new one, you can send Bitcoin through Lightning to any person on earth without any fees, without anybody's permission. That's the new internet. Closed versus open. That's a good way to end that. What do we think? I wanted to get through that quickly. I think I did. But that was a new one for me. I tried out the little presentation there. I missed all the stuff happening on Zap.stream today. I apologize for that. Because my other screen was full. So let's check in quickly on Zap.stream and see what we missed there. So Crypto Ethan says, while likes are abstractly valuable, while zaps are truly valuable. Yes, exactly. So that's just one example, likes versus zaps. I mean, what do you get if you post a picture on Instagram, somebody likes your post? What do you get from that? Just you get to feel good for a couple seconds. NOSTR, somebody likes that picture. You post a picture of your dog or you're golfing for the day. Somebody likes that. Instead of liking it, they can actually send money, send actual value. Which system do you think is going to win there? All of these go back. I mean, we kind of went through that fast. It's probably a lot to take in there at once, but go back and watch that and think about which system that people are going to choose to use. Closed or open, spam, fam, zaps, likes. Like, what do you think is going to happen here as we move forward? People aren't just going to keep living in this old system and hoping things change. People are going to talk. They're going to realize what's happening over here. And slowly everybody's going to move into this new internet. And keep in mind that this is not something that's going to happen next year. Even though everything's kind of built, it's going to continue to be built. But this isn't something that happens in a year. This is going to take a lot of time for people to not only realize it, understand the implications, understand the benefits to the new internet. And it takes time. Everything does. And it's probably not going to be for everybody. There's going to be people who live their whole life and they never interact in this new system. They're going to keep using the Googles. They're going to keep using the Facebooks. And that's fine. But we're moving away from that. We're creating our own ecosystem here, built on an open system, built on your reputation, without a middleman. Just think about that. Think about how much things are going to change here because it's so much better, so much more efficient in every aspect. Shout out to Grindr. Let's, this is some good info here. So the Grindr zapped 121 sats over on Zap.stream. Thank you for that. And he says, also check out noogle.lol/discover. So this looks like a Google for NOSTR. It says algorithms, but you are the one in control. So I'm going to take this link here that the Grindr just gave us. I'm going to bring it up here first to show you just the interface of it. So this is Noogle, but I'm going to put this into the description below here so you can check it out if you have some time today. So this looks like the Google version using what we just spent an hour talking about, the new internet. So I'm gonna try that today. So it looks like you can pay a couple sats to get content from NOSTR. That's very cool. What else? He says that's your NOSTR search engine. Ballsy Golf says, I like that you can post links on Zap.stream. Anything else? Pictures too. Yes. Look at that. The Grindr says you can post notes, another stream, blogs, recipes, emojis, badges. If there is a nip, you can tag that in the chat. Like how cool is that? Honestly, YouTube's great. I mean, I can bring up a comment here easily, but you can't like different comments. You can't post links in there. You can't post pictures in there. What do you think is going to win here? YouTube or Zap.stream? It's just better. Everything's just better. And when things are better, People figure it out eventually and they move there. And when people move there, there's more capital, there's more investment, there's more people building. And that's how things come to light. Great info over here from the grinder. So he posted a note. I'm going to see if I can open that. There we go. Oh, the note says, come check out Bitcoin Journey on Zap.stream. So he posted that in the chat. It went to NOSTR, and it looks like there's been some people who have joined the chat from that note. Like, is that cool, or am I just a nerd? I don't know. One of my favorite sayings, and every time before I say it, I catch myself because I've said it so much, but pretty fucking cool. A lot of things we talk about on the show, a lot of things being built in Bitcoin on NOSTR are pretty fucking cool. The new audience. Yes, and Grinder says you also cannot zap your audience on any other platform like YouTube. On NOSTR, you can give back to the community. So with that, I'm going to send Grinder, maybe I'll bring it up here so everybody can see it. Whoever hasn't tried out Zap.stream yet, this is what it looks like. So you can see all the chat in here, and I'm going to send the Grinder a note. I don't know if it'll pop. Oh yeah, there you go. So it says how much you want to send. We'll give him 69. Zap. And then it brings up my LB here. Pay. There you go. So not only can the audience send, okay, I got to get my face off of the screen. Not only can the audience send to the creator, think like if you're somebody who has something to say to the world and you want to set up a YouTube channel and you actually want to start earning some money from that, it takes forever before YouTube even gives you a penny. You get on Zap.stream, you start talking about what you're into, what you're interested in. If anybody gets value from that, anything that you're talking about, people learn things, people laugh, people are entertained, they can send you Bitcoin on there. Doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, doesn't matter how many people watch your video. If one person gets value from that video, they can send you Bitcoin, real money. And at the same time, if there's people in the chat and there's a good, if I had a question that I wasn't really sure of and somebody in the chat had a good answer to it, I can send them Bitcoin in return. What do you think wins here overall? Bodhi says I attempted but couldn't join the chat on Nostr. So you either have to have a Nostr account, or you can just sign up for an account using just a username. So I'm wondering what the issue was there, but anyways, try it out. BTC Backpacker says I'm going to try Zap.stream. In a perfect world, actually, we're not quite there yet, because the point of the show is to talk to not only current Bitcoiners who are here already, but future Bitcoiners. So there's still a lot of future Bitcoiners who don't have any idea what's happening here that are on YouTube every day. So I probably won't be able to cut my YouTube stream for a while, but in a perfect world, I wouldn't even be on YouTube. I wouldn't even exist on there. I would strictly be on Zap.stream. But like I said, I can't yet. We still got a lot of new Bitcoiners to bring into the ecosystem here. Look at this. We're getting a full tutorial on Zap.stream from one of the creators live in the chat over here. Tell me we aren't early right now in this whole thing. So what else did he say? Yes. He says that beats sending your community across 7 platforms with 7 accounts to consume your content. Nostr literally solves the balance issue. Perfect way to put it. And if I said something on Nostr today after the show that Damus didn't like, they could shut me down. They could stop me from posting on Damus anymore. But then I just take my private key and my public key and I put that into Primal instead. And I start posting over there. And all of my audience is still there. Everybody I'm following, everybody that follows me, all of my timeline is still there just because I have my public and my private key. Grinder also says you can create a NOSTR account via Zap.stream, and it comes with a custodial wallet for newbies. And he also zapped 69 sats. I appreciate that, my friend. 69 gang. There you go. There you go. King says this means you need to be on top of UTXOs, right? With that many smaller transactions taking place. No, this wouldn't have any impact on UTXOs. That's a good question though. So UTXOs are basically only affected by layer 1. So what you would do here with Zap.stream with NOSTR is you would set up a wallet like Wallet of Satoshi or Phoenix wallet, and that's where all your zaps will go. So they're all on Lightning, they're all hot. And then once you get a big enough balance on there, let's say you get to 1 million sats over time. You get 1 million sats, you send that from your Phoenix wallet into your cold card or your Moon wallet, an on-chain wallet. That's when one UTXO will be created. So you're gonna have to pay a little bit of a fee to move that from Lightning to on-chain, but then you're gonna have one UTXO for every single zap you've ever received. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. We've turned this into a bonus segment here, a bonus Q&A, but that's okay. Arnie's being good. He's hasn't even whined today, so we'll stick around for a couple minutes here. I think that this is the difference between, just as a quick aside here, this is the difference between old world and new world. And I think that if you're somebody out there who has been considering starting a YouTube channel, go back and watch the video I did earlier last week about starting your own channel. But I do think that people have been getting it wrong. People who get onto YouTube are doing it wrong, because what I think you should be doing is getting onto YouTube, getting onto Zap.stream, doing a live show. And so let's compare the old system and the new system here. Historically, what people would do is they would take about an hour, and I've done this before, so this is from experience. You take about an hour of your time, you film a video for like a 10-minute video that you want to share a message about. That takes an hour. You have to edit it, which also takes an hour. And then there's no real interaction there. You're just posting something to the internet and hoping that people find it. The new version of that, you do a live show, whatever your expertise is. You do it on YouTube, you do it on Zap.stream for an hour every single day. People show up, people ask questions, you find out what people want to know. But with that, so that's 1 hour of your time. And then you spend an hour after that, you set up like a StreamYard, which I have, and you can actually clip videos from it. So let's say there's 5 minutes that you really liked throughout the show. You can post that with a different heading that people can search for and people can find. So it takes the exact same amount of time, but you get way more content out there. You get way more of a community being built. You're on Zap.stream where you can send Bitcoin, real money, instead of just likes and comments. So this is a bonus Q&A at the end of our Tuesday show here. James Bond made it to the show. Glad to have you, my friend. King says this guy Bitcoins. Bitcoin is just one example. Anything that you do in your life, anything that you have expertise in, there's somebody else out there in the world, probably a lot of people out there in the world, who could learn from you. So instead of just keeping that all in your head, set up a YouTube channel, set up a Zap.stream, and get in touch with me, because we're actually going to be looking for Bitcoiners who have small YouTube channels who want to earn Bitcoin from us. So get in touch with me. All the information is below the video here in the description. Get in touch with me and ask. Just say, I want to start a YouTube channel, already have a small YouTube channel. How can I earn Bitcoin? And I'll point you in the right direction. James Bond says, someone click the like button. Or a zap. Zaps versus likes. You know how it is. King says, time for me to look back into Lightning. Sounds like it locks up BTC until you're ready to finalize it on layer 1. That's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. So one thing to keep in mind with Lightning is that it's always hot. It's always connected to the internet. You have no ability to take your Lightning offline into cold storage. You have to put it onto layer 1 first before you do that. James Bond says, thank you so much for sharing those ideas. Yeah, I thought that this was going to be a good one for people. I tried to get through it as fast as possible today. But if you have to rewatch it and take in a few things, that's what YouTube and Zap.stream's for. Wallet of Satoshi is done in the States, I believe. Yes. The Grinder, who is in both chats right now, says, don't post your NOSTR NSEC into websites. It's bad practice. Log in with a Lightning wallet address linked to your NOSTR profile. Alby, Wallet of Satoshi, or NOSTR signer. Yep. I used Alby there for sending the Grinder some sats there. That's what you guys saw on screen there was an Alby connection. So, and that's a great idea. So if you are somebody who's new to NOSTR, if you're thinking about after watching the show, after you want to join the new internet here, join this new ecosystem, make sure that you have your private key, because there's only one, right? You're going to spend a lot of time, a lot of energy interacting, transacting with that one private key. So take good care of that. I've written mine down on a piece of paper. I'm not similar to, treat it exactly like a Bitcoin private key, your backup phrase. And don't be putting into a bunch of different clients. Don't just go willy-nilly with it, because there's some of these NOSTR clients who are very early stage, and there could be some bad actors in there. So like the Grinder said, you can either use a Lightning wallet like Alby or something else to connect those, or you can just set up like a backup account that you just try out different clients with. That's not like your private key. That's just your backup one. So that's what you can use to sign into different clients, test things out, your backup one. Don't ever get your private key, your main private key, compromised. It's going to be important in the future, especially if you've been into it for over a year now. Oh, look at that fat zap over on Zap.stream from Noah. 2.1 thousand sats. Oh, that made my day. That's why we do it. That's why we do it. Thank you. No, I appreciate that very much. So there you have it, folks. If there's no other questions, let's log off of here. Grinder says +1 on potential bad actors reading out your NSEC through their website. Exactly. So keep that in mind. If you are somebody who's new to this whole thing, if you don't have a NOSTR account yet, that's your first step. Download Primal or download Domus, get yourself a public key, a private key pair, and just start having fun with it. Start interacting, start using Zap.stream, start posting on NOSTR, start asking questions on there, start using Noogle. I've been in this ecosystem for over a year now, and it is life-changing, honestly. If you're somebody who does a lot online, you sell your businesses online, you have a lot of interactions online, it is a life changer. So consider that. Consider that. Grinder says, great stream. Really like your content and glad that you're on Zap.stream. Thank you. And thank you for building these projects like Zap.stream. It's the only way that we move forward here. It's easy to buy Bitcoin, hold on to it, hope you're going to be rich one day. But if you really want this whole thing to succeed, this peer-to-peer economy, if you want everything to succeed, you have to start using tools like NOSTR, like Zap.stream. And because the only way that people are going to keep building on it and keep investing into it is if people are using it. So don't be a Bitcoiner who just buys Bitcoin and hopes the price goes up. Be a Bitcoiner that's buying from other Bitcoiners, supporting other Bitcoiners, using different tools and projects that we have available within Bitcoin, because that's how this whole thing is going to continue to grow. So with that, like I said, if you have any questions, anything you want to get in touch with. Yesterday, I talked briefly about the Living in the Future tier that we have and the new business venture we have in there called Jetson Media. Pretty cool. But we're looking for 4 different types of people there. And so the first type of person we're looking for is actual partners. So I think we got 1 or 2 spots left to be an actual partner where everything's equally distributed. We're building together. Everybody has a role. Everybody has tasks that they do. It's going to be about a couple hours per week, but you're going to be there at the ground level as a partner. So that's number 1. Number 2 is going to be a referrer. So if you're somebody who knows a bunch of people, you don't have time to be a partner, you don't want to be that active in it. But if you have a big network of businesses in your life, think about businesses in your own life who sell products and services online. So a perfect example is Grey Ridge Coffee. They're a local company, but they also sell their products online. So that's a perfect client for us. He's a Bitcoiner too. So you reach out to these companies, say, this is the idea, this is the future of marketing here, of promotion, very reasonably priced. They're going to get your product, your service in front of many Bitcoiners. And if we know Bitcoiners, they love supporting other Bitcoiners. So you could refer business to us and we'll pay you in Bitcoin. So partners, referrers, small channels. If you are somebody out there who has a small YouTube channel or considering starting a small YouTube channel or a small Zap.stream channel, instead of waiting to get paid by YouTube, send me an email and we want to partner up with you to help promote our clients on there. So it's going to be a very decentralized structure, a very decentralized way of promoting these Bitcoin small businesses. And so partners, referrers, small creators, small channel creators, and what was the last one? Businesses. If you are a business, if you're a Bitcoiner, if you have a business and you want to promote your product, your services to other Bitcoiners using this new decentralized promotion channel, reach out to me. That's it. Welcome to the new economy, folks. Welcome to the new internet. As Marty Bent says, it's a beautiful thing. It is. So if you want to be a partner, a referrer, if you're a small channel or you have a business that you want to get in front of Bitcoiners, all of my information is below. Everything you'll ever need to know about me is in the description below. So I hope you have the best Tuesday of your life today. I'm going to go take Arnie for a walk. It's like +8 here. Golf courses are going to be opening up. It's Masters weekend. It's a good day. So I appreciate you all very much, more than you know. Thanks for being here. Thanks for interacting. And shout out to the grinder. Shout out to everybody on Zap.stream today. Let's keep the momentum going on Zap.stream. Get onto NOSTR, and hopefully all the people on YouTube today will be over on Zap.stream tomorrow. And we can keep bridging people over to this new economy. So grinder just zapped 1,000 sats. Great stream. Thank you. Oh, appreciate that, my friend. I appreciate that. So have a great Tuesday. We'll see you right back here first thing tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.